There are 39 people on death row in the state of Oklahoma. This is part 3 of the series. Michael Dwayne Smith, 22 years on death row. Michael Dwayne Smith is a part of the Oak Grove Posse, an Oklahoma City-based branch of the Crips gang. Termain Armstrong and 2 other OGP members attempted to loot Trans Food Mart in South Oklahoma City in November 2000. Armstrong was slain by gunfire from the store owner. Even though Smith had deep personal ties to Armstrong, he was not a part of the heist. After being apprehended, the other 2 would-be thieves were scheduled to stand trial for the crime in February 2002. Smith entered Janet Moore's residence with a revolver 2 days prior to the trial. Smith broke down Mrs. Moore's door and confronted her, thinking her son was a police informant. He shot her dead when she started to scream. Smith cleaned the apartment to remove any traces of his fingerprints before leaving. He then walked to the AZ Mart, a convenience shop directly next door to Trans Food Mart. Sarat Puluru, the store's on-duty employee, was emptied 2 pistols into by Smith, who also stole money from the register and lit fires all around the store with lighter fluid. And in order to destroy any trace of evidence, he set fire to Mr. Puluru's body and everything he had touched in the AZ Mart. He then disposed of the clothing he had been wearing while committing the killings. He was apprehended, convicted, and sentenced to death. Kevin Ray Underwood, 17 years on death row. Jamie Rose Bolin, a 10-year-old girl who had gone missing and for whom an Amber Alert had been issued, was being sought by authorities. On April 17, 2006, Underwood, who shared an apartment building with Bolin, was taken into custody. He told Oklahoma detectives and FBI officials that he had killed Bolin and tried to sever her head off. "Go ahead and arrest me. She's in there. I chopped her up." Following Underwood's admission, Bolin's body was found in his bedroom closet, hidden inside a sizable plastic container. According to Purcell Police Chief David Tompkins, Underwood's fantasies to kidnap a person, essay them, torment them, kill them, chop off their head, drain the body of blood, essay the corpse, devour the corpse, then dispose of the parts and bones, came to fruition with Bolin's murder. Underwood was found guilty of killing the girl by striking her with a wooden chopping board. Police reported finding barbecue skewers and meat tenderizers at the scene, which they believe were meant to be used on the victim's corpse. A jury found him guilty of first-degree murder on February 29, 2008. On March 7, the jury recommended the death punishment. Daniel Vasquez, 2 years on death row. Authorities found the body of 23-year-old Shalila Toombs, who was 7 months pregnant, on May 2, 2018. Vasquez proceeded to a convenience store and informed the police officer that the pickup had run out of gas and that there was a body in the back. This is how investigators learned about the body, which was discovered inside the pickup. On April 29, about 1 in the morning, Vasquez went to Toombs' house. Subsequently, 30-year-old Joshua Finkbeiner and 42-year-old Stacy Harjo showed up, looking for a backpack they claimed Toombs had taken. Vasquez claimed to have discovered that Toombs had borrowed Harjo's car, which was equipped with that backpack that held Finkbeiner's employee's hard drive. Investigators were informed by Vasquez that Finkbeiner and Harjo had put him and Toombs in a pickup at gunpoint and taken them to a farm. Toombs' mother stated that she received a text message from her daughter at 4:50 a.m. that read, "They gonna kill me, Mom, help me." They didn't spend much time at the farm before they started driving around. Finkbeiner started choking Toombs while they were driving, and he did so for about 20 minutes. Vasquez informed investigators that Harjo had given him the order to finish her off shortly after. Before he started choking Toombs, Vasquez claimed to have looked for a pulse and believes she was already dead, according to the affidavit. The three then talked of burning the pickup and throwing Toombs' body into a lake. David Ware, 1 year on death row. In connection with the death of Tulsa Police Sergeant Craig Johnson, David Ware received a death sentence. On June 10, 2020, he shot and injured Officer Orash Zarkeshan during the same traffic stop. Policemen can be seen attempting to remove Ware from the car in body camera footage from the incident, when Ware produces a revolver and shoots both policemen, while Officer Zarkeshan, who was shot in the head, spent around 4 months healing in an out-of-state rehab center before going back to work. Sergeant Johnson passed away from his wounds. Termain Wood, 19 years on death row. In 2001, Wood was found guilty of killing Ronnie Whipf in the first degree. For the crime, his brother Jake Wood was given a life sentence. Jake claimed he was the one who fatally stabbed Whipf. In addition to not being the one who killed Whipf, Termain Wood's attorneys claimed that their client should be granted post-conviction relief because the trial lawyer assigned by the court was dependent on drugs, alcohol, and cocaine during the case. Byron James Shepard, 4 years on death row. Officer Turney, 22 years old, passed away on March 27, 2017, as a result of gunshot wounds he sustained the previous evening after a confrontation with Shepard, a passenger in a car that Turney had stopped. That evening, Shepard, a wanted man on the run, shot Turney in order to escape being arrested. Shepard's criminal history, prior acts of violence, and drug use were highlighted by the prosecution. His public lawyers requested that the jury spare his life and sentence him to life in prison, arguing that the gunfire and the officer's death were unintentional. Kendrick Simpson, 16 years on death row. Glenn Palmer, 20 years old, and Anthony Jones, 19 years old, were killed at a nightclub in Oklahoma City, and Simpson was found guilty of their murders. There was also another man hurt. Simpson opened fire on the males who were in a car traveling on Pennsylvania Avenue close to I-44 with up to 25 rounds from a semi-automatic rifle. Simpson was given 2 death sentences. His 2 companion men agreed to plea deals in exchange for 20-year jail sentences. Ricky Malone, 18 years on death row. In connection with Trooper Nikki Joe Green's death on December 26, 2003, Ricky Ray Malone was found guilty of first-degree murder. Following a struggle on a Cotton County road, Green was shot twice in the back of the head. Malone admitted in court that he was running a methamphetamine mobile lab out of a car. Green slapped a handcuff on one of Malone's wrists, then came close to the car and struggled for his gun. Green was shot with his own weapon. Green's dashboard-mounted video camera caught parts of the crime. Malone said that at the time of the murder, he was high on drugs and believed he was defending himself against a robber. He said that voices in his head instructed him to shoot 35-year-old Green. Micah Alexander Martinez, 10 years on death row. Martinez was found guilty in the October 2009 killings of Carl Miller, 64 years old, and Martha Miller, 55 years old, at their home. Martinez broke into the house, essayed the woman, and then killed both her and her husband. Testimony stated that the Millers died from blows to the head. Faye Miller passed away the day of the attack. Carl Miller passed away in a hospital 4 days later. Martinez remained silent when the Miller's son, Sean Monk, related an altercation with an intruder at the house. Monk, 33 years old, claimed that when he woke up on early October 12, he heard someone breaking into his mother's bedroom and shouting profanities. His mother was unconscious at the foot of the bed with her pants pulled down around her ankles, and he recounted how he hurried into the hallway to see the intruder exiting the bedroom shirtless. He found his father on the blood-spattered garage floor. Alfred Brian Mitchell, 31 years on death row. Elaine Marie Scott was essayed and killed by Alfred Mitchell, who had just been let out of a state reform school. Mitchell had previously been found guilty of essay. Elaine Marie Scott, who was 21 at the time, was killed by a wooden coat tree on January 7, 1991, with such force that her parents were told not to view her body. Scott was a part-time counselor for poor children at Oklahoma City's Pilot Recreation Community Center when the attack occurred. At the time, Mitchell was just 18 years old. In addition to fibers from his jacket lodged in her fingernails, investigators discovered Mitchell's blood on Scott's body. Please hit that subscribe button if you like my channel. See you next time. Bye bye.